Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to live Q&A on June 7th, 2017. Now you'll notice that we are making some changes, as you might have seen with Derek when he did his live Q&A a couple days ago on Monday. We now have the ability to put in video in our live things, and we're working on getting video and audio and different clips and things to make our live stuff better. We're going to be testing more of this out and such over the next couple days, tomorrow and Friday. We'll be doing some live stuff, so hopefully you guys will be enjoying that. So we are going to get going here. I'm going to have to switch here real quick to a different internet service. But if you have any questions, just ask them in the Q&A, and I'll see what I can do to answer them. We were going to do this yesterday, and then our power went out here. And so I was like, all right, fine. We're not going to get the power. The power came back on a few minutes later, but by that time we had already packed up and everything. So I'm doing it now. So here we go. Guys, I'm not going to... I appreciate the thoughts and stuff about terror, but I think that when it comes to the terror attacks, we were in London and such, it's best to think about those who the terror attacks did affect, not the, oh my goodness, I was at this spot at one point in my life. That doesn't really matter. We were nowhere near it when it happened. Let's think about more about those who it did happen to. Okay. What was the last game you played where the rules were printed inside the box lid? Also, do any designer board games still print the rules this way? There's probably one that I'm forgetting, but I don't think so. I know I played games recently where the rules were on the box or in the back of the box or something. Some mass market games. I don't think any designer games do it that I know of. Have you read The Game Makers, The History of Parker Brothers? I have not. Are you ever going to write a book like that someday? Possibly. But I'm not in the mood to write a book now. How do you handle it if other reviewers are critical of the content that the Dice Tower produces? You mean if another reviewer says, I don't like what the Dice Tower does? Well, I'll probably, if they call me out publicly, I might go talk to them privately. That has been done in the past for sure with me and other reviewers. It's kind of a fine line to walk, right? So I try not to do it myself. I may have slipped up in the past, and I don't think it's very professional, so I try not to do it. What's my favorite Mario game? Mario Kart. Any of the Mario Karts. I really like Mario Kart. But if you're talking about the Super Mario ones, I haven't played any. I'm sorry, I haven't played any. I haven't played many of the new ones. My favorite of all time is probably Mario 64. But I really did like the new Super Mario Brothers where me and my kids were playing all at the same time. That was a lot of fun. But they played it way more than I did. I got my hands on 1989. Do you like the mini game in it more than just a straight scoring from TS, or has it not aged as well as in your review? No, I like it fine. I think I like Twilight Struggle a little bit better. That's all. When and what is the next top 10? No, there's a top 5 tomorrow. That we recorded at the UK Games Expo. Our top 5 exciting moments in gaming. We did it with the folks from No Pun Included, and many of our contributors were on it also. I have not played Too Many Bones yet. I have not even really seen it other than in passing at a convention. Where do you store your hats? In closets. How many hats do you have? I don't know. Any of them fun ones like the Viking helmet you had on at the expo? Yes, although that wasn't my hat. They just asked me to put it on. What do you think of the Wonder Woman movie? I enjoyed it a lot, actually. I thought especially the acting was quite done, and Chris Pine was phenomenal, I thought, but it was a very good movie. Am I recovered from jet lag? I'm hoping so. It was still hitting me pretty hard yesterday, but I slept a lot last night, so I'm hoping that I am cleared up from it. Could you make a top 10 board games designed by women? I probably could. Did you know Jenga was invented by a woman who designed over 40 games? I do know that. In what year do you predict you'll be able to make such a top 10? Well, I could probably do it now, but I think I'd like to wait and see. We'll do it at some point, I'm sure. What are my overall thoughts on UK Games Expo? I mentioned those yesterday in Board Game Breakfast. Have I played Clank with the Renegade app? What would the Renegade... I don't... What? does the app add? I don't know. I'd have to look. Does it add anything? Maybe it's sound effects. I don't know. With Analog Gamer shutting down, are there any plans for future T-shirt distribution? Yes, but I'm still working that out. Once we have something in place, we'll certainly let you guys know. Before Essen, Days of Ire 1956 was your most anticipated game. I know that it was demoed at UK Games Expo. Have you had a chance to play it? I played it, but I've only played the cooperative part of it. I've not played the competitive part, and I would like to do that before we do the review. Have I played Link? No, I have not, but Z brought it in today, so hopefully I will get a chance to play it at some point. Do you think anything will come out to beat Cosmic to your number one? I always think it's possible that any game could become a number one game of all time. Cosmic has held the spot for a long time. Will it ever fall? Well, I mean, I guess you'll have to keep watching each year to see if it happens or not. The next great ice cream flavor to be invented? I don't know. There's so many good ones out there. I'm always finding one I'm like, this is amazing. How about quadruple raspberry? Is Pandemic Legacy a good game for a couple, 2 players? I've not done it myself, but I've heard that it is. So, what do you think about the board game that tells stories book line from Ignacy Trzewiczek? I have those. I think there's just 2 of them. I have both of them. I enjoy them a lot. Why is everybody on the Dice Tower saying etc. when it is actually called etc.? After someone pointed this out, I can't stop paying attention to this every time you guys say that. I don't know that it's everybody. It's probably just me. I mispronounce a lot of words. Many times I'll say words wrong. Sometimes I do it by accident. Sometimes it's on purpose. Sometimes I'm talking quickly, etc., etc. But I'm trying to, like names especially, I want to pronounce names correctly if possible. I'm not trying to make, real people. If it's something like Drizzit or some fantasy name or from Heroescape, etc., etc., I don't really want to mispronounce those. I mean, I don't care if I mispronounce those. If it's a real person's name, like Ignacy Trzewiczek or Rainer Knizia or Friedman Fries, etc., those I try to pronounce correctly if I possibly can. And if it's a game name, it would be nice to know how the name is pronounced. I always get, whenever I talk about Blocus, some people are like, oh, no, it's Blocus or it's Bloku or whatever people think it is. The company, I don't know if they've ever said what it is, or Camel Up or Camel Cup, etc., etc. But for the most part, I try, and sometimes I mispronounce words, and sometimes I don't care. But it's mostly me, not anyone else. Do you think games bring people together? Yes. How has your most anticipated games of 2017 changed? Well, I mean, I don't know that my most anticipated games changes as much as I just see a game go, oh, that looks interesting, or I play some of my most anticipated games, and they're no longer my most anticipated game anymore. So I think as time goes by, the most anticipated thing is not quite as useful. Again, I'm more curious about the games, and you can't see them, but they're right here next to me on these shelves that got to be played. Right now, Melody is here opening many, many games up for us to play in the future, and some of them look really good, so they would be anticipated by me. It was good to see you at UK Games Expo. I was going to bring you some Iron Brew, but you had loads of it. We did indeed. Thank you. How did it feel to have a street named after you at the UK Games Expo? I didn't even know that had happened until I was sitting up there with John Kovalik at the end, and he was telling me he found my name street, but he couldn't find his. And I was like, what? It was a short street. I never did see it. I would have taken a picture. Is Rodney Smith as nice in person as he is in videos? Rodney Smith is very nice, but not in a game. And by that I mean he's vicious and will go cutthroat, but he's still fun to play with. It's not that. Top 2 Dixit expansions to start with, just grab 2. At Origins, do you ever wander around the premiere section to check out the prototypes? Very rarely. I like that Dice Tower that you showed. What are the chances they'll be offered in the next fundraiser? Who knows? But I'm going to work on it because I really like them. Are we going to do an Origins preview on the podcast? I don't have one planned. I may talk about Origins a little bit. Let me see. When are the shows going up? No, I don't think there's a specific Origins preview podcast. We may do an Origins... I don't know. I'll probably do an Origins preview. Maybe a live video next Monday or something. Um, what's up with your microphone in the podcast? Has anyone reported that it sounds a lot less pleasing in the past? Well, sure. I'm trying to figure out what the problem is because I switched microphones last one and people said that there's still problems. So it's obviously not the mic, it's the computer. I'm not sure if it's a connection or the program. We're trying to figure it out. Could you give your thoughts on Zombicide Green Horde? No, not really, because it's not out yet. I'm assuming it's just more like Zombicide with orcs. What was my favorite part of the UK Games Expo? Playing games with people. That was a lot of fun. Are you going to Spiel this year? We are. As far as DC movies go, how did Wonder Woman fare? Easily my favorite of all the DC movies. But I'm not a big fan of this grim, dark, brooding stuff. I didn't like Batman vs. Superman. I didn't like Suicide Squad. I didn't like the Superman movie either. The Batman movies were fine, and they were very well done, but they were too dark for me. I mean, you watch it, you're like, ooh, the Joker, that was a really good Joker, but I don't care if I ever see that movie again. While Wonder Woman, I was getting excited. I want to get excited when I watch a movie, not feel like, ugh. Best way to get a dedicated game group started? Well, use Meetup, Facebook, whatever you can to find people, and then just start playing games. First thoughts on this war of mine, I'll have a full review of that up. But I will say, and you can take this either way, it made me go find the computer game and played it. I played it on the airplane ride to and from the UK Games Expo until I got too depressed and stopped playing it. What was the best thing you ate during this last trip? Well, Toad in a Hole was pretty good. Oh, no. We went to a little restaurant called Barbecue. It was right next to the Drafts restaurant, and we had sausages, and it was mind-numbingly, amazingly delicious. Fantastic. Hey, Tom, what's with all the hate on Risk? Risk is fine. You got to make sure that it matches the reward. I think it's okay to take risks in things, but you know, sometimes, I don't know. I mean, in a game, I'll take risks. In real life, sometimes I'll take risks. But for the most part, you got to say, is this risk worth the reward? I don't necessarily hate risks. Risk itself is part of life, I think. If you never take any risk, you're never going to get anywhere. I was not able to play First Martian again. Sorry. Who did you most enjoy meeting at UK Games Expo, and why was it me? Oh, I'm not going to fall into that trap. All right. Do you think 3D printing will change board game radically in the next 10 to 20 years? I don't think that it will change it radically. I think people will print out upgraded components and things like that. I don't think it will change it radically any more than has laser printers radically changed board gaming. They haven't really. So I don't see why 3D printing would do the same thing. It will change design. Great. People will have really nice prototypes, but it's not going to change gaming itself. Is it important to play most of our purchased board games before buying more? I think so. Don't forget to come on a Dice Tower Cruise, by the way. But I probably won't play Oh My Goods if you bring it. I might, but I doubt it. Did you try Tunnock's tea cakes? Yes. If so, why is it the best candy in the world? I don't know if I would call that candy. Is it candy? It's more like a cookie wafer type thing. But they are quite good. I just had one maybe an hour ago and then said one is enough for the day. They're very good, but I don't think I should be eating a lot of them. The app for Clank adds wandering bad guys. I'll have to try it. And a new mode of play with a lieutenant. Add single player? That's interesting. Do you prefer rolling dice directly on a table in a box or using a dice tower? Probably a dice tower, but I also like throwing them on a table. Like this table here has raised edges, and it's great to just, when I have some dice. So let's say I have some dice here. Okay, let's use this die then. And this die here, and I can just chuck it across the table, bounce it off the wall, like craps type thing. I love that. Did you bring back stuff for your friends and family after a major trip like that to the UK? No, I just brought back some candy and for my kids and my wife. I didn't bring back much more. I like to bring back cool things. I already got them some stuff from UK, but I try not to bring back just garbage if I can help it. So if I found something really neat, I would do that. But I don't want to bring back souvenirs just for the sake of bringing back souvenirs. Any live plays this week? Yes. How many recorded shows will there be at Dice Tower Convention? How many recorded shows? We're doing a couple game shows there. We're going to do a top 10 list. We're going to do Dice Tower Awards. It's going to be there. So there'll be several things. I'll be putting up a schedule of Dice Tower stuff, but wait till after Origins is over, and then I'll tell you what's going on. Although, honestly, you can just go to Dice Tower Con and see it. There's not a huge schedule of events, so we'll be in many of them. Iron Brew flavored ice cream? What a fantastic idea. What was your biggest culture shock when visiting England? They don't butter for popcorn there in the movie theater? There wasn't really a huge culture shock. It's just all minor stuff. Like, I find it interesting everyone says I'm brilliant when I was told many times as a kid that I was not. Brilliant is a word that's almost equivalent with good in England, but in America, brilliant is like amazingly smart, usually is what brilliant means. But it was all minor stuff. We had a great time there. Do I think Mansion Madness first edition is worth getting if I find it for like $36? No. Get Mansion Madness second edition. Why didn't you include Zaya Embers of a Forsaken Star as an essential expansion? Well, I haven't played it yet, so that's why. Have you played New Angeles yet? No, I have not. Who did you go to get your game published? I went to many different publishers. I chose Game Salute. But how would I recommend doing it now? I would recommend go to conventions and meet up with publishers. Is Mansions of Madness the only game I play solo? No, I also play Gloomhaven solo. Do you think the expansion for Splendor is a marketing strategy for profit? Why create an expansion for a perfect game? I don't know. I haven't played the expansion. Maybe the expansion's really fantastic. I would play it before I would criticize it. When will you start your Best of Designer series? Soon, but probably after Dice Tower Con. Have you ever injured yourself with a game piece? No, I don't think so. I mean, stepping on stuff hurts sometimes, but never injured yourself. What's your favorite regional food living in Miami? Chicken chop chop. Love that. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Did you buy any games from the UK? I don't think we bought any. We brought some back from reviews, but I don't know if I bought any. If I can get Arena of the Planeswalkers games in deep discount, should I go for it? Yeah, why not? Do you find that doing top 100s affects your perception of games after the fact? For example, do you like a game less when you realize it didn't make your top 100 or more when it's in your top 50? I think I know where you're going with this question, but I don't actually understand it really on a basic level. If I like a game, it's in my top 100. If I love the game, like love it. And if I don't love it, then it's not my top 100. But I'm not going to sit there and go, I guess I don't like this game as much as I thought I did. Not really, because me liking it determines whether it goes in the top 100. It's not like a circular thing. It's one is based on the other. Would you do a top 10 list where the hype train killed the game for you? I don't think a hype train has ever killed a game for me. I'm very wary of some games because of the hype train. I don't think it's ever killed a game for me. When's the last time you were in Asia? I went to Korea about 5 years ago. How many games were sent back from the UK Games Expo? Maybe, I think we brought home like 15 or so. Not a whole ton. And we got several games sent to us in the mail. About 30 games or so have shown up in a week. We did not do 30 reviews, so we're falling behind, I guess. Let's see here. Try any good hot sauces recently? I've had some good ones. I know that I really like the hot chicken sauce from Nando's. That stuff is really good. It's good and flavorful and spicy. That stuff is really good. How'd the UK weather treat you? The weather was quite nice. It was cool the whole time we were there, which we liked. It was sunny majority of the time. It was just beautiful weather. It rained a few minor times, but it was much better than last time. Any chance of having Dice Tower promos for sale at Dice Tower Con this year? I don't like selling Dice Tower promos at Dice Tower Con. I don't want to deal with that. So we don't normally sell them there. We just have a good time. We just want the convention to be a great time. So there's not really promos there. That being said, I don't know. Let me think about it. But once you've played your most anticipated games in 2017, do you stop anticipating them? Yes. Are you still following Doctor Who? Well, I am, but I'm usually behind on Doctor Who because I don't watch TV live. I just wait till it comes on the internet. So I believe that I usually am one season behind. So I don't know who Bill is. Am I sad or excited that the Doctor's going to regenerate again? I think I'll go with excited. I don't dislike the current Doctor. The current Doctor is fine. But I don't love him as much as I liked Matt Smith and David Tennant. So a new one would be cool. Did you get to see the Batman game that will be launching on Kickstarter? I did not, but Sam did, and he really enjoyed it. Have you had a chance to play Near and Far yet? Oh, yes, I had a chance. I've had many chances. I've played it many, many, many times. The review for that will be going up this week. Let's see here. Some people are asking the same questions over and over again. Boo. You do that, and I won't answer any more of your questions. Are you considering doing updates to your top 10s? Oh, yeah, we'll do updates with top 10s as time goes by. We've already done a couple. We did cooperative games, and we did our essential games. We actually did our designer list over again, too. We just called it something different. Are you coming to the DC, Baltimore area for any conventions this year? I'm not, but I'm going to PAX Prime. PAX Unplugged. Sorry, it's different. PAX Unplugged, which is in Philadelphia, which is somewhat close. Since starting the crowd surfing show, have you found yourself backing more games? No, I'm excited about games, but I'm willing to wait till they come out and buy them then. When they come out, if, I don't know. I can see how people can get into this backing thing, right? You like every month, back 2 or 3 games a month. And then a year or 2 down the road, Christmas presents start showing up. You're like, whoa, what's this game? Oh, that's right, I backed this thing. And that, I guess I could see that being fun, especially if you don't keep track of which ones you backed, if you forget about it so that the ones that are late don't bother you. But I will back things unique. Like I just backed a spinner for a dice spinner because I like that sort of thing. But I don't back many games. Do you have any specific plans for PAX Unplugged beyond just attending? Will you have panels or events? I may have signed up for a couple panels. We'll have to wait and see if they do them. I am going to do a Dice Tower meetup the day before PAX Unplugged, Thursday. I'm going to go to Shady Maples, so I'll be sending out more information on that when I have it set up. I'd love to just, you're going to have to drive there, figure out how to get there from PAX Unplugged. I want to say it's probably 45 minutes away or so. But it's a fun complex, and we can get hopefully a private room or something. I'm going to have someone help me set that up and everything. But I think that would be a lot of fun. So we'll probably send out a thing soon to see how many people are interested in such a thing. It might not be anybody, but I'm going to go regardless. We have not seen Massive Darkness yet other than at the Cool Mini or Not convention. Sorry, I fell behind in questions here, and then it shot down to the bottom. There we go. Caught up. All right. Are you a fan of the Pirates of movies? Well, I haven't seen the newest one. I thought I would rank them 4, 3, 1, 2. And that's in reverse order. So let me rephrase that. So 2 is my favorite, then 1, then 3, then 4. 3 I found 4 is like forgettable. I can't even remember what the movie was about. I know Blackbeard was in it, but that's it. It was okay. I liked it, but 3 was fun, but it was way too convoluted. I got confused about who was betraying who the entire movie. 1 is, of course, the classic, the intro, great movie. 2 I liked a little bit better because I laughed a whole lot more during 2. Just found the whole thing extremely entertaining. Is there a history of the Dice Tower anywhere? I think I probably said something. I might do a, there's no written history of it anywhere. If I did a written history of the Dice Tower, it'd probably be 10, 20 years down the road when there's a lot more to talk about. Maybe it will be over at that point. I'll be like, and the Dice Tower ended in 2020. What's my favorite strategy in Feast for Odin? Cows, probably. They're big. You get them up. They can take up all big chunks of your spot. I like cows. Have you ever been to a friendly local game store that buys and sells used games? I've seen them before. A few do it. Not that many. I think more of them should do it. It's a good way for them to make money on the side, I think. What were you doing on this day 1 year ago? Probably prepping for Origins. We'll be reviewing Sherlock Holmes soon. I don't think we have a copy of Sherlock Holmes. And if we do, did we get it or not? That name still irritates me. I hate that name. Have you tried the new characters released for the Voyages of Marco Polo yet? I have not, but I am very interested in that. Other than posting YouTube videos regularly when you first started, what was the other way you advertised or got your videos noticed? I didn't really do much at the beginning. I just posted videos. I mean, granted, people had already been reading my reviews, so they kind of moved over into that realm. And I put them on Board Game Geek, where people noticed them. Nowadays, putting a review on Board Game Geek is not as critical, for us anyway, but at the beginning it was. And I just kept doing them, really. My podcast also pushed people towards the video reviews and so on and so forth, etc., etc. Your Control review was killer. Did you really hate the game that much, or was it just a bad day? I was in a really good mood when I reviewed it. Did you ever read Ready Player One? I did. I like Ready Player One. I don't know that I would like the character, the main character of it, if I met him. I was not a huge fan of the follow-up one. The 80s references are fun, right? Because I grew up in the 80s, so that stuff is fun and interesting. But after a while, it just starts, like in the next one, or whatever it was called. It was just too much. It was almost like, and he ran out there as fast as a character from this movie. And I did this, just like so-and-so did in this comic book that came out in the 80s. It was just after a while, I was like, all right, we get it. You like John Hughes, etc. But Ready Player One was still a very entertaining read. I really enjoyed it. Had a good, fun ending. And I would have liked to maybe have seen a sequel to it to see what happened, maybe. But other than that, it was good. But I didn't think the sequel or the next book in the series was as good. I guess they're making a movie of it, so I'm curious to see how that will work. I lived in the Midwest all my life, and I'm moving to Central Florida. What's the most important things I should know? The sun is there. Even when it's a cool day, the sun is there. So if you're going to be out for any extended period of time, make sure you put on sunscreen. That's my number one tip. UK Games Expo dates for next year, June 1 to 3rd. Oh, man. I hope it's not like... I hope we never get UK Games Expo and Origins back-to-back. That'd be bad. Any quick tips for my first time to Gen Con this year? Sure, get a really good pair of walking shoes. Second, sign up for the Dice Tower show. Let's look that up online here while I'm at it and see how many people have signed up for the Dice Tower show. We have 1,200 people. And that can come. So let's see. There it is. All right, so let's find events. So I'm in 2 events at Gen Con. One is me, and one is me with Dice Tower Live, sponsored by Stronghold Games. Okay, so it's Friday at 1 p.m. There's 1,200 seats. There is less than 300 left. So that's exciting. And the video review editing tips and tricks. There is 240 seats, 215 left. Okay, so there's plenty of room in that one. But there you go. What are your thoughts about British reviewer style, like no pun included, and shut up and sit down? Everyone has different styles, I guess. I didn't know that there was a British style. There are British reviewers that aren't in that style, I guess. I'm not sure that there's a British style. How does you being so good at math affect you enjoying your job? Or if you weren't so good at math, would you enjoy your job less? I don't think so. I mean, first of all, I would be very cautious to say I'm really good at math. I got good grades in math in school. But being in math, I like stats and things like that, so that affects that part of my job. But I think you could not like math and like what I'm doing now. I'm reviewing board games. I don't think my enjoyment of math affects that much. I was asking why there's so much hate on the game Risk. Well, I don't know that I would ever say that Risk is a game. I mean, if you are putting, if you are putting money on something, for example, in the stock market, that's not a game. That's actual money that you need to use in that risk. If I quit my job to do something else, I would not consider that to be a game. There is risk in games, and when there is risk in games, I don't care about at all. I mean, I'll lose all my money, I'll do everything else. But in real life, I wouldn't call risk a game. Even like at the casinos, if that's gambling, that's a game. I wouldn't consider risk to be a game there. Who's my favorite British game designer? I don't know. I'd have to figure out. I'm never a real big fan of questions like that. Who's your favorite Japanese game designer? Does it matter what culture they come from? I'd rather just have a list of my favorite designers in person. Are there any movies that aren't superheroes or Star Wars that you're looking forward to seeing in the theater? All right, let's look at this. Anticipated movies of 2017. Oh wait, what were the things actually that aren't superheroes or Star Wars? Sure, Valerian City of a Thousand Nights or something like that. That one, that's not Star Wars, even though it looks like Star Wars, and it is not superheroes. So let's see here. Spider-Man is a super. Dunkirk. I think Dunkirk sounds really interesting. Yeah, Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. That's one. Dark Tower looks pretty cool, so I'm interested in that one. Can't say Thor and Ragnarok. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm gonna pick for those. Is there more? Nope, that's everything. All right, cool. Let's see here. Where do you ask questions? It depends where you're living, actually. Would you make a video about the making of Nothing Personal? I've debated doing that, and I might do that, but there's some things that... There's reasons I haven't done it yet. Given that you guys were in the UK at the same time as the most recent terror attack, will it give you pause for thought when thinking of returning next year? No! Why? Why would it give me pause for thought? Am I going to allow these guys to control my life? because of something that they did. Now, I'm not going to go back to a whole country because of it. I love the United Kingdom. I thought it was a great country to go to. I had a great time in England. I had so much fun in London. I had fun in Birmingham. The people there were friendly. The people there were nice. Why would I let a couple of, I can't even say what I would call them, people determine that? No, I'm not going to let fear rule my life. No. What's the best prank you successfully pulled off? Well, I might have told this one in the past, but it's always good. Joe Stedman, my original co-host of the Dice Tower, and I, we were both in Korea at the time, and he was always giving me grief about all kinds of stuff, and I gave him grief, but I don't know what caused me to do it, and I thought I'd pull an April Fool's joke on him, but you don't do a small April Fool's joke. So I emailed him. One time he reviewed a game, and so I made up a whole email address, and I emailed him after his review, and I said, this review is wrong, it's garbage, and he's like, how dare you say this to me? And I said, I'm just kidding. I said, you're much better than that Vasel guy. And he's like, yeah, that's true. So we talked back and forth for a while, and we became friends. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to be visiting Korea in the beginning of April for a business trip. And so I made this guy, now to make these things work, this guy was not perfect, right? He lived near where Joe lived, but not in the same city. He liked mostly what Joe liked, but not exactly. He was very similar in his beliefs on different things, but not exactly. Got to make the person seem realistic. I even took a picture of some guy on the internet that I put in. And he said, and it just so happens that this board game store is going out of business near me, and I can buy a bunch of these games, and I listed a whole bunch of rare war games I knew Joe liked. Like, if you want me to buy any and bring them, I can. So Joe came and was very proud about this and told me, and also would laugh about how this guy hated me. And yeah, this guy really did not like me at all. So this guy was coming to Korea. He was supposed to land April 1st. And so he went and asked for time off. Now there I drew the line, because I don't think you should ever, a practical joke should never cause like money or hurt to somebody. So I went and told our boss, the principal of our school, what was going on. And knowing Joe, he thought this was an amazingly good thing. So he would refuse to give Joe the day off. And then that day in the teacher meeting beforehand, I said, can I talk at the beginning? And they said, sure. And that's when I told everybody about it beforehand. You do not tell people about jokes ahead of time. The only people who knew was my wife and the principal. No one else knew. So then that day I went through it and I talked about different things. And then at the end I said, and by the way, so-and-so does not exist. And he just looked at me. And everyone else laughed. And he was annoyed, briefly, but then he laughed later on. Because it was a really good joke. I don't think I would pull something that long connish again. But it was, I dragged this out for months. But it was highly entertaining for me. Also, this was like 12 or 13 years ago. So maybe I've matured more since then. Let's see here. Do you have any plan on where to go when sea levels rise and Miami goes underwater? Yeah, me and Chief Sokoto have been talking about this for a while. And I've, over the time in our travels, I've managed to procure the FCOT 47932. And I have that hidden away in a pocket dimension. We will use that one. There's enough for me, my family, and several of my closest friends. And there's enough food for us to survive. We're going to have to briefly go into the object continuity, but I think we'll be fine. So I am prepared for that. Miami's already been underwater about 7 times anyway, and so I'm kind of prepared for that. Do you ever buy games anymore, or are you mostly just giving them for review and such? Mostly just giving them for review and such. What's up with this El Dorado game? Seems like no one has heard of it. Well, I would argue that the committee has heard of it, and many people in Germany have heard of it. I have not yet gotten it. So maybe people in America and myself have not heard much about it, but I wouldn't say no one has heard of it. I'm sure it's quite a good game if it was nominated. Heard an interesting discussion recently about whether alpha gaming is a game designer problem or a game group problem. I think alpha gamer is mostly that person's problem, but I think a game designer needs to think, what do I do if an alpha gamer exists in the group? How am I handling that? I don't think the onus is completely on them, but I think they need to consider it. But it's also the game group's problem too, right? What's your favorite cavern tile / room? The cuddle room. I've never been to a board game convention. What's the difference between a convention and a large meetup? Well, many conventions have big, giant events that are planned there. And also many conventions have retailers and publishers there selling the games. Those are the main differences. KFV versus Popeyes. I'm assuming you mean KFC versus Popeyes. Which do you prefer? For sandwiches, Popeyes. For chicken, KFC. But I would probably prefer to go to neither, honestly. Do you have any knowledge of how games like Magic the Gathering randomize the cards that go into their packets? No, but that's a fascinating thing. The next time I'm with someone who works with one of these companies that randomizes cards, I'm going to ask that because I find that sort of thing fascinating. I plan on going to Essen this year. Is there a chance you guys are going to do a video on what to expect? Probably. We usually do that before Gen Con and Essen for sure. Do you think it's too pushy to have a game already set up to play for reluctant gamers, or just ask first if they want to play? I set it up. Join me or not. And if no one joins me, I guess I will sadly put the game away. I've done that a few times, but usually somebody will join you. My favorite Star Wars movie? Return of the Jedi. Easy. I love that movie. Did you get a look at the new Doctor Who game at the UK Expo? I saw a Doctor Who game there, but it came out at Essen. I didn't know much about it. I talked to the publisher briefly about it. I briefly toyed the idea of buying a copy, but didn't. What's my favorite kids book? Probably Where's Waldo? I guess. I'm not sure. Oh, I am really far behind. Question-wise. Well, let's go really fast now. Okay, so I am 20 minutes behind in questions, so I apologize. I'm going to go really quickly now until I get to a question. What's the most essential thing you always carry with you when traveling abroad? Your passport. Come on now, it's really easy. Do you ever go to convention shows, be part of the audience? I have in the past. Yes, Wits and Wagers was a lot of fun. What's your companion condiment of choice for a peanut butter sandwich? I'm not a big fan of peanut butter sandwiches, sorry. Which of my kids is most like me in personality? Amy. Which is most like my wife? Probably Melody. When running large Wits and Wagers games, do you allow betting with extra chips won on previous questions, or just the 2 basic chips? Always with extra chips that are won on previous questions. Otherwise, it would be really boring. If you like buffalo cauliflower, yes. What day and time will your event be at Gen Con? Friday, 1 o'clock. Is Zombicide good for solo play? Well, I don't know. I never played it. Thank you for the very nice things that people are saying to me. There's a game shop down the road from Shady Maple called 6 Feet Under Games. Well, that's interesting. That might be something fun to work with. Do you know the YouTube show called Hot Ones, where celebrities are being interviewed while eating extremely hot wings? Yes, I've seen that. Why does everyone ask me about food? Probably because I like food. Would I do playthroughs of games like CMON at other conventions? We're going to be doing a playthrough of a game at Origins just to test it out, and we may be doing that more in the future. We'll have to wait and see. Have you gone through all the mechs and minions? Not yet. Get Cavern over Agricola. Is Derek going to be participating in now videos, doing his own reviews, or joining in top 10s? No, I hired Derek to be a video editor. He's going to do Q&As, and you'll see him playing in our playthrough games, essentially. But that's what we got him for, is to be a video editor. What's a good gateway hat for a guy that's never really worn them? A good gateway hat is a fedora. Fedora works in many situations. What's your win-loss record against Box of Rocks? I don't know what it is. I know I'm ahead, though. Does map affect game stores selling used games? I don't think so. I don't think it has anything to do with used games. What is your favorite thing to do at the Dice Tower? My favorite thing to do is make top 10 lists. That's my favorite thing to do. Let's see. There's a follow-up book to Ready Player One. Well, don't get too excited about it. It really is not it's not nearly as good. Have you ever eaten Scrapple? Yes, I've had Scrapple. I grew up near the Philly area. I grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, so I definitely know what Scrapple is. I also know what Yakko's hot dogs are. I know the best way to eat a steak sandwich. How long on average does it take you to learn a medium weight game? As long as it takes me to read the rule book. So let's say 5 to 10 minutes probably. My bookshelf's looking bare. What's up? Well, you're looking at one of my bookshelves. This is one of the new bookshelves, so there's still room on it for new games. Thoughts on the Wonder Woman movie? I already said that I liked it, but are you excited for the Justice League? I am a little bit, but not that much because I didn't like Batman vs. Superman that much. Did I see the Fallout miniatures at UK Games Expo? I did, but I just briefly looked at them. That was it. Tom, you are being obtuse and annoying. You know that the viewer wants to know your thoughts on the board game Risk. Is there a game called Risk? That'd be interesting. So it's a board game, and the whole thing is based on risk. I'd call it Risk and Reward over Risk myself. A risk game where all you do is take risks. That's a good idea. I think that's a great idea. Sorry, I didn't mean to be obtuse or annoying. Do you have plans to return to Korea for a visit? I'd love to return to Korea, but I don't know that will ever happen. I would love to do it very much. What game would you keep if it would be 3 games? Okay. If okay, I'm sure. I'm not sure if I understand that. What game would you keep if it would be 3 games? Any of my games, if they would become 3, I guess that's 3 times as good. Let's see here. What is Chief Sokotoa's take on Risk? Well, Chief Sokotoa is always the first guy in, right? There was one time where we were flying the Penelope 6, and we got there, and it was like, all right, we got to jump into this hole. We got to take out the Snarglefarks. And he was in there before I was even had my equipment on. I didn't even know that he had forgotten the radiator gun, but he used his knife as normal. But he would go in there and I'd be like, do you not want to know how many there are? Do you not want to know if they're the orange ones or the green ones? Because to me, that sort of thing really matters. But he jumped in there. He is a great risk taker. Let's see here. Does that game behind you say Nuns on the Run or Nuns on the Run 4? Just Nuns on the Run is the name of the game. Hi, Tom. You taught us Flatline at UK Games Expo. We lost after 4 more plays. We've still not won. Have you beaten it yet? I have not. But I mean, we could have beaten it one time. Just we made some foolish mistakes. Jason will not be at Origins, but he will be at Dice Tower Convention part of the time. Not the whole time because his workplace having some big thing during Dice Tower Con. So he said he's going to drive up and back and forth during that time. What's in the metal case behind you? Oh, it's over here. Well, let's look, shall we? Poker chips. But these are mini poker chips. I found a set of these one time, and I was really pleased with them because sometimes you don't want to have big, giant poker chips in a game, and you just want to use things for keeping track of points or whatever. A mini poker chip set is a great thing to have. I got this for a really inexpensive price. I was very pleased. If you ever have a chance, I recommend getting them. I'm about to buy Roll Through the Ages. Which is better, Bronze or Iron Age? I like Bronze a lot better, actually. You recently did a top 10 tips for game designers, and you said don't steal, copy game mechanisms. It's not clear to me what constitutes stealing a game mechanism. Can you give an example? Well, if I give an example, I'm pretty much calling someone out for stealing. I think it's fine to use something like, oh, wow, this guy used deck building, and this guy invented this new thing. That's fine. But don't steal the whole thing and just remake the game. People have done that before. Instead, utilize it, but try to add your own spin to it, your own new unique thing. Special abilities is not a unique thing. If I was going to design another theme, what theme would I do? Spies. I think spies would be one. Let's see here. My son has Down syndrome. I bought Robot Turtle based on your review. What other games would you recommend of the same weight and accessibility? Well, there's a lot of them. I might consider Top That. That's a really fun game that I enjoy. Possibly Fox Detective is good. There's a lot of really good games. Anything from Haba or from Queen Games is a lot of good games where you work together, and a lot of great kids games. Things like that is what I would recommend. Do super chat donations go to Dice Tower YouTube? I don't think I've ever got a super chat donation. I know they exist, but I've never seen anyone do one. I think they come to us. And the Eek Cetera, that drives me nuts, says Donna. Oh, the Eek Cetera is a monster. And he doesn't drive you nuts. He basically just eats you slowly. It's really gross. But me and the chief have taken out 3 or 4 of them. Actually, he has a head of one on his house on Ganymede 6. Gangrene, the Green Gorilla, is he related to Harambe? I don't know what Harambe is. I'm going to assume not, but he doesn't talk a lot, so I don't know about his whole backstory. What game has the best components to date? You mean of any game ever in existence? Mechs vs. Minions has certainly a high claim on that, but there's a lot of great games out there. I'm probably missing one. Some of these deluxe games are just beautiful and such. After listening to the last podcast about your plans for toilet trouble, I think I would argue against you maturing too much. That is true, but you did not know me in college, so I may have been slightly more irrepressive than I am now. Do you have any additional thoughts on your Board Game Breakfast report and Asmodee going exclusive with Alliance? How exactly does this benefit publishers? It benefits a publisher because the publisher can send all their games to one place. So they don't have to send it to 5 different places. They send it to one place. They know exactly. They have better numbers. This many are being sold here. This many sold here. They might get a discount from that thing. It definitely will benefit a publisher in many ways. So I mean, I can see why publishers do it. Is it a good thing for the hobby? I don't think so. But again, I'd rather wait and see. People are screaming about monopolies and such. It's not necessarily a monopoly. They're not the only people making board games. There are many other board games that you can buy for very cheap prices. So you just can't buy the games from Asmodee for as cheap prices. And there we jumped all the way to the bottom again. It's my birthday. Wish me a happy birthday. No. All right. My money on why Tom likes Return of the Jedi so much is it because it has a happiest ending? Yeah, I think so. I like movies with happy endings. I really don't. I'm not a big fan of movies that have kind of ambiguous, unhappy endings. I don't mind if they, like Braveheart, where the person dies or whatever, but the bigger ending is happy. I like that. But also, Return of the Jedi was like a nice conclusion. I like the Ewoks. But the main reason I like Return of the Jedi is because the whole Jabba's Palace sequence is just my favorite sequence from Star Wars movies, period. It was so much fun. Americans and their junk food obsession. Yeah, us Americans are jerks, and we only like garbage and whatever. You're right. You are much, much better than we are. Hi Tom, what's your opinion of mouse mat game boards? I had the mouse fall apart after a few years. I mean, fall apart? I haven't seen any of mine fall apart. Mine are all hanging in a closet on pants hangers. It's a great way to store them. So that's what I would do there. Do you think Essen would benefit from more panels and such? Maybe. I don't think that it needs more panels. I think Essen's kind of fine as it is. Derek's last Q&A was very good. I'm sure it was. I've heard many good comments from it. What's the best antidote to AP? Clearing your throat, asking whose turn it is, using a timer, hitting them with a rubber chicken. I've done all those except for the rubber chicken. But basically it's like the whose turn it is. Or after a while I'd be like, just to point it out. But your turns are taking as long as everyone else is put together. And I want to play another game tonight. Is that okay? That's sometimes things I've said in the past. Did Z and Sam and Z enjoy playing Pandemic Live at UK Games? You have to ask them if they enjoyed the Pandemic Live. I think they died very quickly, so there was that. Do you still have Horse Fever in your collection? I don't know. If I do, it was like right on the cusp. I really like it. I'd like to see a streamlined new version of Horse Fever. How do you determine a balance between convention coverage and review output? I don't know. It's a hard call, right? I try not to do too much convention coverage and do a lot of reviews. I feel like I don't know that we can ever be yelled at about that. By this, I mean, I don't think anyone can ever say, well, Dice Tower, you do too much convention coverage compared to review coverage, because I'm pretty sure we do more reviews than anybody else anyway. So our convention coverage is like a bonus on top of that, right? I mean, we do 1,000 reviews a year. That's a lot. And so I try to balance it out. I try to always have new things. I try to have as much different content for you guys as I possibly can. And I know not everyone's going to like convention coverage, but you can skip that. Like, so for next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's convention coverage. And Saturday, there's convention coverage. People showing games off. There's nothing else on those days. That's all there is. And you might not like that. That's fine. But we have done about, I don't know, 1,000 days worth of reviews that you can go back and watch. There's no way you've seen it all, if that bothers you. And I understand that not everyone wants to see convention coverage. That's fine. But hopefully we have a lot of other stuff out there. All right, I'm shooting down here. Ooh, someone did a super comment. Email says, "Here's one. Thanks for making amazing content." Well, thank you. That's really cool. That's very, very nice of you, and I appreciate it. I will always read those questions, but I better be careful, because someone will ask me one of those questions that I always avoid on those. Are 12-sided dice better than 6-sided dice? They are, for sure. Really annoying when men are purposely obtuse and think it's funny. Yeah, that's true. That is annoying. On behalf of all men, I apologize. And I think that's going to be it for today. So I really appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you coming along for another Q&A. Like I said, we'll probably be doing some live stuff tomorrow and Friday. What will they be? You'll have to wait and see. We're probably going to do them as they come. Set up and get some stuff done. I have a few reviews coming out this week. I've recorded 3 of them so far, and I'll be recording a few more today that will be posting up as the week goes by. And I just hope that you guys have a fantastic time. It's a later Q&A than normal. It's Wednesday. Normally we do these Monday. I'll get back on schedule by doing one on Monday next week. And maybe some of you are coming to Origins next week, and I hope to see you guys there. That'll be a fantastic, fun time. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. All right. It's time for the dice showdown of the world. All right, so let's grab 2 dice here. Let's see. This is a 3-sided die, and this is a 9-sided die. All right, let's see who wins. The 9-sided has the odds. All right, let's see. 4-4. It's a tie. All right. Let's roll it again. 4-1. The 9-sided die has been eliminated. 4-side goes to the next round. Fantastic. All right, let's see here. Here we have a 5-sided die. against a 24-sided die. Fantastic. All right, let's see. 1 to 11. Well, the 5-sided die is out. All right, let's see here. We have a 3-sided die against a 3-sided die. Oh, that's probably a wash. 3 beats a 2. You're out. Now we have a round 6-sided die and an 18-sided die. 9 to 1. Oh, you're out. All right. Another round 6-sided die and a 30-sided die. 11 to 5. Well, the 30-sided wins that one. All right, a 30 versus a 20. 10 to 6. The 30 is out. The 20 is in. All right. This is a 14-sided versus a 14. 2 14-sideds. 13 to 5. The 5 is out. Now we have a 4-sided die against an 18-sided die. 14 beats 3. The 4-sided one's out. This is a 14-sided die against a 30-sided die. Ooh, rolled a 30. It's hard to beat that. All right, a 3-sided versus a 4-sided. That would be a lot of fun. 2 to 2. It's a tie. Round 2. 3 to 1. The 3-sided beat the 4-sided. Very exciting. A 30 versus a 3. Well, that's probably not. 10 to 1. Well, that was kind of obvious. Well, Frank, sometimes, these little dice can surprise you. They can come from behind. I know. But, all right. Here we have another 30 versus a round 6. 27 to 1. That was pretty easy. Now I got a 22-sided die against a... Ooh, this is called an average die. This die here is 2, 3, 4s, and 5s. All right, that's 3 to 5. You had your chance, but you were eliminated. Here we have a 14-sided die against a 4-sided die. 4 to 1. Oh, well, this was not expected to see a 4-sided die. That's 2 4-sided dice, Bill, that have made it to the second round. Oh my goodness. I'm not expecting this. All right. And when you roll here, a 7 beats a 6. So we have a 16-sided die, makes it to the final round. Now we're going to roll these. 21 beats a 3. All right. Here's a 4 versus a 3 again. A tie. They both rolled 3s. And another 4-sided makes it to the final round. Let's see. We're going to pick a few more dice, and then we're going to go to the second round. What I got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Wow. A 1 and a 1 here. 3 and a 6. All right. So that's 18 dice. We are going to pick 2 randomly to get a buys. No, wait. How does that work? We got 18 dice. Well, we're going to roll them all, and any ones are automatically eliminated. Oh, one of the 4s got a 1. He's out. And then the second lowest here is this 3 on this 24-sided, so he's out. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Here we go for the final round. First, we have a purple 14-sided die against a green 18-sided die. The green wins 6 to 4 to the final 8. Now we have a 30-sided die against a 24-sided die. 6 to 13, the 30-sided wins. This is probably where the small dice get eliminated. Another 30 against 24. 25 beats 16. A 4-sided die against a 30. Hardly seems fair, Bob. I know. 18 to 4. Yep, 4-sided is out. Here we have 19 to 17. That was close. But that is 4 30-sided dice have made it to the final 8. 6 to 5. Well, this was interesting. An 18-sided die has made it. And there's the 3-sided eliminated by the other 18. And a 4 versus a 3. A 4-sided has made it to the final 8. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Mostly because of the easy competition that they've had. All right. First one, 2 30s against each other. Well, that is 19 to 11. Here we got an 18 and a 30. That's 6-5. The 30 has been eliminated. The 18 is still in it to win it. Here we have a 30 and another 18. 11 beats 5. Another 30 has been eliminated. So, and now the last is an 18 versus a 4. It's going to be hard. 7-2. The 4 has been eliminated. Well, interestingly enough, here in the final round, we have 3 18-sided dice and 1 30-sided die. Can he pull this off? And good on the 18-sided dice. They put a lot of effort into it this year. I really feel like they put a lot of effort. I agree. So let's see. First 2 of the 18-sided dice against each other. Black versus green. 16-13. Green has been eliminated. And then the yellow 18-sided against the white 30. And that is 1-21. That wasn't even close. 30-sided has 1. So as we come here, we have a black 18-sided die against a white 30-sided die. What do you think? What do you think it could win? Okay, well, the crowd is very, very excited. So we're going to bring in a special rainbow die. He's a 12-sided rainbow die, and he's going to be here to judge this. All right, guys, what are you going to do? All right, here we go. This is for the final countdown. And the 30-sided die has rolled a 3. The 18-sided die has rolled a 10. 30-sided dice are out. For the first time in the history of the Dice Rolling Championship, and a non-30-sided die has won, and the crowd goes crazy. Anything could happen. You too could be a great die. All right, shut up. We don't need speeches right now. Okay. So for our next tournament, we're going to be taking, and 2 dice are going to be paired together. These dice are going to be working together